You're listening to episode 50
of This Thing of Ours podcast.
Welcome back to This Thing of Ours podcast,
where we talk about all of life's highs and lows
and everything in between. It is July 9th, 7:43 a.m. How are you guys doing this morning? Hopefully this podcast actually gets up in the morning, afternoon, or else welcome back to the After Dark podcast. Okay?
Yeah.
Because we always post at like 11 o'clock at night for some reason.
We filmed this twice yesterday, but things happen.
The energy was just off,
and here we are, Sunday morning.
Awake, alert, had our coffee, had our breakfast. And yeah, this morning we had eggs and we had strawberries and blueberries. That's something I want to do later. Maybe today, if it's open. I want to go strawberry picking. Right around the corner from us, we are seeing raspberries bushes just randomly start growing.
Yeah, near like this little pond thing that they have going. Right on the edge of it, there's a bunch of raspberry bushes.
And it wasn't there last year.
Nope.
So this is something new. Yeah, this area is supposed to be like a preserved area of just natural.
Wow. It's supposed to be around us. There's a section that they're saying they're going to be making like, my guess is it's going to be more of like they're going to make a trail through it.
It's going to be the human nature. Okay, it's not going to actually be natural.
No.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But your boy Trumpet here, I know you can barely see him, but he's getting a haircut today. Yep,
today at 9.
As soon as we're done filming this, we got to rush him over to get his haircut.
Yeah, because he's been running through the dirt with me when I take him to the dog park. Let me know how much you guys been paying for your groomers if you guys have a dog and you get them groomed. Trumpet can run up to, let's say, $150.
Is that what they charge you?
Yeah, that's after tip. Do you guys tip? We need to talk about the tipping culture real quick, okay? I'm still like kind of heated at the fact that I was judged on how much I tipped. So this happened actually a couple months ago, and I'm still thinking about it. I went to this coffee shop. Okay, I never actually go inside coffee shops and sit down. I wasn't working that day, so I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to go to a coffee shop. So I went to. I'm not gonna say the name, but I did go. I left the house and I bought my computer with me. Well, Curse's computer. I don't have a laptop. And then I'm like, you know what? Today's going to be a really good day. I'm going to go sit down in a coffee shop, do some work, whatever. So I get there and I'm like, oh, you know what? Let me try something different instead of always having like a cafe mocha. So I think I tried like a latte or something. And when I got to the cash, the whole thing came up to like $5. That's a lot. But for me at least, okay, I thought, and I wasn't even at Starbucks.
Yeah, see, like we're used to just going to like simple Tim Hortons where you spend $2-3 at the most on a mocha, on a French vanilla,
and you don't have to tip or anything. So I didn't know you had to tip. That's the thing. I didn't know you actually had to tip at some cafe shops. I thought it was just, if you want to, you can. But because I used my card, the tipping option came up first. And I was like, oh, man, I hate when they do that.
Yeah, when it prompts you, you're like, okay, I guess so.
I know, like, do I press no? Do I press yes?
Because they're watching you. They're watching that screen to see what you're pressing.
So I'm like, hey, well, you know what? 15% of my $5. I don't even know what that was, but I'm like, you know what? I'll tip $2. So
that's like almost 50%. That's like 40%.
Well, I didn't want to tip, let's say 50 cents. Okay. So I was like, let me tip $2. So that's kind of like what I did. Because the tipping actual jar was next to it. And I saw $2. Someone put $5 in there from what I remember seeing. And I was like, damn, $5. I'm like, okay, it all depends on what you ordered, right? So I was like, let me put $2. I see someone put $2. I'm going to give $2.
Yeah.
And I did that. And then, I'm waiting for my coffee. And then as I'm like grabbing my coffee and walking away, I sit down and I hear $2? Really? Look at this. Look at this. Look what she tipped. $2. And then the other person was like, she shouldn't have tipped at all. I was like,
A
hold
40%
on.
tip? Shouldn't have tipped at all. Okay. Let's see.
I know, and I was telling my friend that too, and I was like, am I cheap? Should I have tipped like $5? Why should I tip $5 when my drink costs $5? So I spend $10?
Yeah. No, it's crazy. It's crazy. And like the fact that they actually thought that was wrong, like I don't understand the logic that went through their head.
I know. I was like, am I cheap? Did I cheap out on my tip? Like I was like, oh, should I have tipped like $2.50 or something? So it's half of $5. I don't know. I just left my house. I wanted to enjoy, I don't know, a coffee shop. I wanted to try something different, and I wanted to
instead of just staying at home, you wanted to go out.
Yeah, I wanted a different like surrounding. You know, even if it was just for like 2 hours, 3 hours, I just wanted to be outside of my house. And the fact that like they got mad at the fact that I tipped only $2, I was like, I'm not coming back here. I'm not coming back here again. Ask me if I've been to another coffee shop since. No, I haven't. Except for like Tim Hortons, and that's it.
Yeah, it's crazy. But anyway, where were you going with that?
Oh yeah, so that's why it costs about $150 is because, you know, you have to tip for the groomer. That I understand, because I've washed Trumpet by myself.
Yeah,
and washing a dog is it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So I understand why, you know, you would want to tip a groomer. And I've always tipped the groomers that's done Trumpet. Because, you know, washing a dog, the way your back aches, the way your dog shakes, and next thing you know, you're covered in the soap and the water. It's just, it's not a good look. Okay. Yeah. So I always appreciate the groomers that, you know, put up with Trumpet. Yeah. Yeah. Any dog.
Yeah. So. That like, there's certain things that I'm like, yeah, okay, you deserve a tip. I would not want to do what you do, and that's why I'm here right now, paying you to do it. So yeah, sure. No problem. Let me know, do you guys wash your own dog, or do you get them groomed as well? Like, I find we do wash him once in a while ourselves, but I just find it's easier to get it done elsewhere. We used to go to PetSmart, and they only cost like $80, $90.
Not really. They were over $100.
No, I remember spending only $90.
That's because we lived in Sudbury. So Sudbury PetSmart actually has different prices compared to Auto. Auto is actually a little bit more.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's why I didn't mind paying that extra amount, because it basically kind of equaled itself out. That's just something I've noticed. Okay. Yeah.
Anyway.
But anyways, I want to know, are you guys on Thread? If you are, follow me on Thread. Do you have Thread yet?
I did not download Thread yet. No.
Oh. Well, I hooked my Instagram up to Thread. I was thinking about doing it for our podcast Instagram, but I haven't done it yet. Thread is supposed to be like a little Twitter.
It's like Instagram's version of Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a limit on what?
I think it's 500 characters.
500? Okay.
Yeah, it's more than Twitter.
Yeah.
But it looks just like Twitter. But I'm actually curious to know if it's going to just get hyped up and then die off like Twitter. I don't know. Do you guys still use Twitter? I don't use Twitter. But it literally looks like Twitter. I have a couple of posts on there. I only got it like 2 days ago, according to this app.
Does it look different? Like, in the sense of like a little bit more modernized, or is that part of the reason why they're saying Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are fighting right now?
Oh, I don't know. I don't keep up with that.
Because Elon Musk has Twitter, and Mark Zuckerberg has Facebook and Instagram, right?
And WhatsApp.
Well, yeah. There's more than, But I'm just saying.
I just feel like all these companies, all these social media companies are all just too much alike. There's nothing that's really different. I think the only thing that was actually different at the time was Be Real. And I feel like that's the only one I think that kind of, I would say, was unique. But now everything is like similar. You know, so far, actually, I feel like I haven't seen another Pinterest. That's one like social media account I really enjoy to use. I just find Pinterest is very unique.
It's very easy to like take someone else's thing and showcase it to other people that follow you.
Yeah.
But still give the other person credit because you've pinned it. Mm-hmm. So you're not like stealing their post.
Yeah.
Right? You're not just stealing that picture. You're pinning it so it still links back to that person that actually gets the credit for it, which is actually really cool.
But I also like because it reminds me of just like an online version of a vision board.
Yeah.
And I think that's a part of why I really enjoy using Pinterest. So let me know if you're on Threads. If you are, follow me on Threads. And let's have our own little Twitter conversation.
What's your tag? What's your name?
I don't even know. This thing is weird. Like when you put it to your Instagram, it's just a bunch of numbers. So I think they're just trying to show how many people are on Threads.
Really?
Yeah. Like, and I get it. Like the thread is long. The more people that join, the thread gets longer. Does that make sense? To me, that's how I'm like trying to figure out why they came up with the name Thread and why they don't have like a user name. They just have like a bunch of numbers, but it makes sense. But if you want my Thread number, it's on my Instagram. Yeah. Let me give you my number, guys. 56,501,339. That is my Thread number.
So jumping into a different topic. We went to the baptism 2 weekends ago.
Yes, we did.
And Amelia here became a godmother.
Yes.
She did accept the role.
I got to hold him while the priest was pouring holy water over his head. He started crying. I got nervous as I was holding him. But yeah. It was such a great experience. And it was actually pretty interesting to see how kids react to other kids. So at the same time, there was another family that was getting their daughter baptized. And she was a little bit older. I'd probably say she was about 2 or something.
Yeah, about 2.
So my nephew went first. The priest was pouring the holy water over his head. He started crying, like screaming, crying. And then when it was her turn, she started doing the same thing. But before it all happened, she was happy. I saw the little girl running around with my niece. They were playing almost. Yep. And then literally when it was time to pour the holy water over his head, I feel like she interpreted it as it was painful.
Because he was crying about it?
Yeah.
So like when it was her turn, before she even got close and she just knew it was her turn, she started crying.
Yeah.
Like instantly. Because she thought that, I guess, they hurt your nephew, right? So...
Right? So, what's a fear that you've developed because you saw, let's say, your younger brother afraid of it, or you saw one of your friends afraid, so then you became afraid?
Oh, I don't know.
For me, it was spiders. Because I saw my older sisters afraid of spiders, I became afraid of spiders.
Okay.
But now I'm not, because now I know I have the confidence to kill them, because it's like you or me. So in the house, so one of us has to go, and it's not going to be me.
So you're still scared? I'm
still scared, but now I'm actually able to kill it with a shoe.
Okay.
Yeah, before I was never able to do that.
So for any spider lovers out there, Amelia is killing your friends.
First of all, I held a tarantula, okay? So... Anyways,
yes, which you dropped at first. That video is actually hilarious. If we can find it, we'll put a little skit in here. But yeah, I just remember you saying, she was asking you, "Are you ready? Are you ready?" And then you said yes, and then as soon as it touched your hand, you're like, "No, I'm not ready." Don't poke it.
Okay, it's just soft. Yeah. Feels like a kitten.
Can she sense my fear?
No.
Okay.
I have shaky hands.
Is it true that they're attracted to sound though?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So if I scream,
vibrations.
Yeah. You could do it.
I touched the leg. It moved.
Are you gonna hold it?
Are you crazy? Okay, I want to hold it, but I want you to be right there. Okay, if she starts running up my arm, I'm gonna run.
Yeah.
It's staying pretty still on her hand.
Are your hands warm? Yeah, they like heat, so they'll stay still.
You sure?
Yeah. She might walk around a little bit. Your hand.
I have cold eyes. I should take off my coat so I know where she's going. Okay. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sure I'm the only one who does this. Okay.
No, there's been grown women coming in and crying because it's on their hand.
Oh, yeah. God, she looks scared though. Okay, you promise you'll take her right from me.
She's okay. Yeah.
I had to face my fears one way or another.
Okay.
Oh my god. Okay.
Just don't even look. Let her just put it in your hand.
Okay, you promise you'll take a picture?
Yeah.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Sorry.
It's okay.
She can't. Sorry. It's okay. I just found her little paws and. Did you take it, Curtis? Did you miss the photo?
Oh, yeah, I think I... Yeah.
He missed it. Okay.
No, I got a picture.
Let me see. Do I look scary? You're so rude. You're so rude. Okay.
Cool.
You're not funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
You ready now?
Hold on. Cool, eh, that?
Yeah.
Look at me.
Big
spider.
That was so cool. Okay, so after the baptism, we did have like a little hall. We went and, both families got together. We celebrated the baptism of Noah. We took lots of pictures. We took videos. It was really a great time. And I'm really happy that I did take on the role. At first, I was nervous. And I know we made a podcast about this before. But it made me think about if you weren't a good fit, your sister probably wouldn't have chosen you. So I was like, maybe I am a good fit. So I decided to take on the role. And I'm really happy that I did. But yeah, we got a lot of pictures. I told you that my family on my mom's side came down. They got to go to the baptism too, and it was a really great experience. And I'm happy that I took on that role. Last weekend was also my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
I turned 31, you guys. 31.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
31's it's not old, but it's like you realize that you're not young anymore either. You're like, I'm at that age where I'm like, it's either I do something, I don't know how to explain it.
Well, I understand what you mean because the retirement age here in Canada, I think it's like 60 to 65.
Mm-hmm.
You can take early retirement, I think, starting at 60.
Yeah.
And I'm already halfway there.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Having a little bit of midlife crisis at one point.
Yeah, and it's not like a midlife crisis. It's just like a midlife realization that I need to really start buckling down and being like, okay, what do I truly want from my life?
Mm-hmm. And I also want to do more things that I enjoy, not something that I'm forced to. Because I realize I haven't really been living my life. I don't travel. And I guess the term of living your best life really depends on what you think is your best life.
Yeah.
But for me, I always loved road trips, and I feel like I haven't taken one in a long time.
In a while, other than just going back to see your
Montreal.
family in Montreal. That's really the only road trip. But I remember we used to actually take just random trips.
Mm-hmm.
We lived in Sudbury, no IKEA, right? So we'd be like, well, I mean, normally it was you saying it. But you were saying, let's take a trip down to Toronto and go to IKEA. And we literally just pick up in the morning and go. Mm-hmm. Right? And we haven't done anything just random like that in a long time.
Well, I try to get you to do random things. And now you're just like, I'm too old to make things, to do things that are not planned.
No, I never said that.
You always say that to me.
I don't say I'm too old. I never said that.
Well, you have the grumpy old man energy sometimes that I have to deal with.
No.
But anyways, going back to my little midlife crisis. It's not a bad midlife crisis. This is not going to be negative.
Yeah.
This is actually a really positive, I think, midlife crisis.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not a crisis. It's just like more of a realization.
Yes, I like that. Midlife realization.
Yeah.
So we're not going to call this midlife crisis. No. I had a midlife realization.
Yeah.
And one of many that I've had was, take the risk.
Or lose a chance.
Yeah. So I decided to apply for a job that was in my field. I finally got what I want to say is one of my many dream jobs. And I'm really proud of myself, even though I got it in my 30s. On my way home from Montreal yesterday, 'cause I went for a day, I was actually thinking about the things that I've accomplished in that 1 year of being 30 compared to all of my 20s. But I wanted to say that, I'm very proud of myself, but I was thinking why couldn't I do this when I was a little bit younger in my early 20s compared to why did it take me this long? Because I know there's other people that are obviously younger, and let's just say they become a CEO of a business at the age of 21, or they reach, or they're reaching different pinnacles in their career
at an early age. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think there's one set timeline. Mm-hmm. Society makes you think there is, right? By this age, you should do this. By this age, you should do that. And society puts that on us. Mm-hmm. But every person, I think, has their own timeline. Yeah. Mentally, maybe people aren't ready for it at that specific stage of their life. They have to experience a few other things, maybe a few hardships, to get to that next level, right? There's lessons to be learned throughout each individual person's life, and it changes your mindset through it, with everything you go through, right? Yeah. So at that exact point, you weren't ready, or maybe you wouldn't have been as grateful. You would have just been like, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing, and just another goal I reached, and and maybe you wouldn't have been as happy doing what you're doing, right, at that exact moment. But you had to go through a few other things, and now you're actually grateful that you got what you got. Yeah. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. I'm happy with my timeline, but it just made me think about if I had done things a little bit differently, where would I be at this age of 31?
Yeah. And and I understand it is hard to look back or look at other people's lives. You see it on social media, all people that that may be 5, even maybe 10 years younger than you, and you're like, shoot, wow, they already did that. I haven't even done that yet. Or, oh, they have this, but it's doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It doesn't matter. What does actually matter is, are you happy with the progress you're making?
Yeah. And that's where I was going to conclude this little birthday thing. I am happy with my progress. I really am happy. And I couldn't believe that some of the things that I prayed for, because I journal. I think I mentioned this before. I journal almost every day. And I decided to read back on my journal a year from today.
I remember you never actually used to read back on them, and I mentioned it one time. Yeah. Do you ever actually read your old journals?
And I always said no, but for some reason I just this morning I decided to look back on it, and it's crazy because I'm just going to talk about a little bit of material things. I wanted to get a camera for the podcast, and I also wanted to get a Rode mic because I wanted to do
the wireless ones.
Yeah, I wanted to get the wireless Go mics. And those things cost $500. The camera, a good camera, I think can start at $1,000. But anyways, the camera that we were looking at was just over $1,000. And the Rode mics, the wireless Go mics were not cheap either. But we saved up and we got those things.
And the couch.
Yes, and the couch. So if you've been watching us for a while, or if you just just been glimpsing through our episodes, we were sitting on our chairs from our dining table. And we talked about wanting to get a couch, right?
So when we first started the podcast, we had a couch, but we knew we wanted a new one. We sold ours, and then we couldn't decide on which one to get. We were looking for a decent price on something, and we held off, and it was like weeks, maybe even months that went by when we had no couch at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, we ended up getting what you wrote down in your journal that you wanted, and basically the same style of couch that you envisioned and you had on a vision board at one point too. Different color, but still basically the same couch, which is crazy.
Yeah. And I definitely want to set up a room in our house for the podcast, just because I feel like it would be easier, right? So that's my next goal, I think, for this podcast, is just to, have a room dedicated. So it's a lot easier for us to just sit down and have a conversation. Because right now we literally just kind of just destroy our living room to set up for the podcast.
Tear it apart and rebuild it into, I guess, a studio.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's crazy. When you read that to me, that exact entry, that journal entry on whatever day it was, August 22, 2022, I was like, wow, everything you wrote down there, you ended up getting.
Yeah.
Not right away, but eventually we got what you envisioned that you wanted.
Yeah.
Right? So it's actually really cool.
I prayed for it. I wrote, God, please help us get a couch, the wireless Go mics, the camera. Yeah. But yeah, like that's literally what I wrote down. And it's interesting because I feel like even though like we lived through it and we got those things, I feel like I didn't actually acknowledge that we got those things. And those are my small wins. I didn't even acknowledge it. I was like, yeah, we have the Rode mics now. And that's it. Like, I didn't actually feel like I was very appreciative.
I think that, and then that's kind of what it is. I think once you get something in that moment, you don't realize how badly you wanted it prior to that.
Yeah.
Or like months, maybe even years that you waited to get something. You don't realize the time and the effort and the struggle to get to that point. Now it's just like, oh, I got it and that's it. You don't reflect back on like the previous, like before you.
Well, I think it depends on how big that what you want is. What you want.
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, that was my birthday realization. On my birthday, though, we went to a museum. And let me tell you what Curtis did, okay?
I didn't do anything.
No, right, you're right. You didn't do anything bad. But here I am. He was like, oh, I have something planned for your birthday. And I was like, oh, you do? Okay, what are we doing? And he was like, oh, it's a surprise. It's somewhere you always wanted to go. So I always wanted to go to a museum. We talked about this on the podcast that I wanted to go to a museum. So I can't believe he actually listened. So I'm like, okay, we're going to go to a museum. And I'm thinking there's multiple museums. Are we going to go to the Bank of Canada? Are we going to go to a nature museum? He just said we're going to go to a museum. So I was like, okay, because he's into finance, he's into, investing, and he studied finance, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, he's probably going to take me to the Bank of Canada. So I'm like, yes, we're going to go to the Bank of Canada. I'm going to put on a cute dress. We're going to go. I'm thinking Bank of Canada Museum is probably still never gone to it, but I was thinking it's probably more, mature. It's going to be like less kids there because there's probably less things for kids to do there. I don't know. It's just something that came to my mind. So whatever, I put on a really nice dress, nice summer dress. And I had like a cute little bag on me. And we get into the car. I'm like, and we drive down the street. We're on our way to the museum. And I'm thinking, so where are we going again? Which museum? And he was like, we're going to the nature museum. I'm like, hold on. Okay, turn this car right around. Turn around. I need to change. He's like, why? You look fine. I'm like, no. I was dressed a little bit too fancy for a nature museum. So I made him turn around and I changed into shorts, some running shoes, and a shirt.
Anyway.
And then he got mad at me because we were going to be late. But I feel like if you had told me where we were going, I probably would have been able to prepare more.
Yeah, I guess so. But it's not like you were in like a fancy, like formal dress or anything.
No, this was a long dress where a spider or anything can crawl up my dress.
Anyway.
We all watched Spider-Man. We all know the story of Spider-Man. How he got bit inside a museum or wherever he went to, lab.
Yeah.
As soon as I heard nature museum, I was like, there's gonna be spiders there. Or there's gonna be some type of bug that I don't want crawling on me.
Which when we got there was like 4 or 5 different floors, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The one in the basement was dedicated to bugs. Don't know why they chose that. Maybe because bugs live underground a lot of time. I never really thought of that.
I don't know.
But anyway.
We didn't go to that one, though.
Yeah, the basement floor was for bugs, and we didn't end up going down there.
But it was just what I was going to wear. It would have been too like formal, I think. Yes, it would have. So. I didn't see anyone at this nature museum that had a dress on.
There wasn't either.
I didn't see anybody.
I saw them.
There was nobody. Everyone was casually dressed.
Yes, most people were. You're right.
About 99% of it was casually dressed. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to go home and change. I'm not going to wear this dress to a nature museum.
But yeah, no, I mean, I'm actually very proud of you for accomplishing what you've done in the past year since we came to Ottawa. Like you've grown a lot, I think, in just this past year. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So from what you say, from 30 to 31, I think you did had like it almost seems like you took a step back and you're like, what do I truly want for my life? And am I going to let fear or the opinions of others stop me? And I think you came to the realization that no, this is like, it's your life and you need to do what you want to do. And screw everything, screw fear, just do it, right? And of course, like, you still have your days where
I have my mental breakdowns.
Yeah, you do, but that's fine as long as you can overcome that, right? And you have.
Yeah, and I've tried a lot of new things too. And one of the dentists that I was working for, he said to me, it's hard now, but it won't be hard forever. And I think like today, that's kind of like, I don't work for him anymore, but that's one quote that he told me, as he said, like, yeah, I understand you want to go, whatever, but just know that whatever you do, it's hard. It's going to be hard now, but it won't always be hard. Yeah. And that's kind of like something that stayed with me.
Yeah, and he's right. He's very right. Like, anything new that you do, it's going to be hard. There's like, you don't know truly what you're doing. Even if you know the theory of something, you haven't physically done it. You have no experience. It's going to be hard. But eventually, over time, doing it over and over, it just becomes like second nature. And someone walks in, you're like, oh, this is what we're doing today. Okay, sit down.
Yeah.
And you just do it.
See, it's the same thing like vlogging. I find vlogging is pretty hard, but it's because it's still new to us and we don't really kind of know vlogging yet. So I thought maybe that's why like we're not very consistent as much as we say we want to be.
Yeah.
Because it is hard, but I realize that over time, if we keep doing it, it
just becomes natural.
Yeah, it will become natural and we will enjoy it even more. So if you don't know, we are on our 50th episode. That big 50.
Yep. Yeah, and that's another thing I'm very proud of us for, that we've stuck with it through the struggles, right?
And even though we missed like some Sundays,
yeah, like we've
always come back. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was talking to my mom the other day because you were gone. You were in Montreal, and I stayed home because I worked. You had the day off. But yeah, I was talking to my mom the other night, and basically she was saying the same thing, that she was very proud of us for like what we've accomplished over like the time we've been together. Right? Because we have been through a lot together and we have done a lot of growth throughout the years. But she was basically saying that because now, like, I call her, right? She doesn't see me very often. I go there like once or twice a year because now I'm 5 hours away. But every time I talk to her, she's like, you're either saying you're planning to do this or you've said you've done it, right? Like we mentioned, we set up our balcony, right? We got a nice little sectional patio set with a nice table. And then we went and got a barbecue, which I'm very happy about.
Yep.
Very happy
He's about to tell you guys about his barbecue.
Yeah. So we've always lived in apartment buildings. So like since I've moved out of my mom's place, right? She has a barbecue there. So I've used to barbecue when I was there. But since I've moved out, I've always lived in apartment buildings where there's a bylaw, no barbecues on balconies. So I never had one. Never had my own barbecue. Now I do. And I'm very, very happy I do.
Yeah, we've barbecued hamburgers, hot dogs, and what else have we barbecued?
That's it so far.
So it lights? How do you unlight it?
All the way.
Put the range up on my eyelash. Unless it was from there. So we got this cover too to cover our stuff. So how do you feel about finally having a barbecue?
Feels good.
Yeah.
Feels very
feel
good.
Complete?
Yeah. Balcony is actually complete. Well, actually, last night we made Jiffy Pop on the little side burner, right? Because we have the flat top, like the glass stove, and it says right on it not to use that. So, you know, we went outside and we used that side burner.
The popcorn actually tastes really good. There's a lot more kernels. That kernels are popcorn.
It took me a while to find a barbecue I was happy with. Well, first of all, happy with the price, and then happy with the product. I was debating between either a Napoleon grill or a Weber. I ended up going with Weber. I was originally a little bit biased to Napoleon because I remember my dad had one when I was younger. And also he was in like HVAC and like heating, ventilation, air conditioning, all that stuff. And I remember them selling Napoleon products. So I was a little bit biased.
Oh, so Napoleon is actually like a really big company.
Yeah. They don't just make barbecues.
Okay.
But anyway, I do remember that. So I was a little bit biased, but I do know Weber is a very good brand as well. So I ended up going with that. But one thing that I needed, that we wanted, was the side burner, right? And it's a propane grill. So if for whatever reason power ends up going out, which it has happened quite a bit in the past year and a half that we've been here, and you can't cook anything.
Can't boil water.
You can't do anything.
Yeah.
So we wanted the side burner so we can still cook things. We can barbecue anything we want on the grill and then still boil water. We can still like fry up some vegetables or whatever we want to do, right? Basically, we have a full kitchen on a barbecue. So, yeah.
Are you happy with your purchase?
I am. So far, yes. It does a good job. Yeah.
He did a lot of reviews on this Weber. Which Weber one did you get though?
It's the Spirit 335. Weber has like their Genesis models, right? So that's like their premium grills. This is kind of like mid-level. It's not like their cheaper ones. It's like mid-range.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still afraid of barbecuing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have to build it.
Yes, I had to
Well,
build
sorry,
it.
I don't know why I said we. Chris built it.
It took me like 3-4 hours.
I saw
to build
some
this thing.
wires. I'm like, I'm not messing around with no electric wires. Next thing you know, blow up my house with the propane because I didn't know how to connect everything.
No, everything's working fine. It's working good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm actually very happy with our setup now. Our balcony, I feel like it's complete now.
That was a very big purchase. And I didn't think you were going to get it this year because I know you wanted to buy when it was on sale and it wasn't on sale, you guys. Every other store had it on sale but the specific store.
Yeah. Well, I bought it at Canadian Tire, which I doubt they have it in the United States or anywhere, but basically they give Canadian Tire money
that you can only use at Canadian Tire. Because
we bought our patio set at Canadian Tire as well, we had like an extra $160 to go towards the barbecue. So I was like, it's not on sale, but I'm almost forced to buy it at this store because I have $160 going towards it. Oh, and we had gift certificates.
Yeah,
my brother gave me one, and your dad gave us one. So I had an extra $100. So I basically had like $250 to go towards the grill.
Only at a specific store. So that's why I didn't think he was actually going to get it this year. I actually thought I knew you were going to get it this year, but I didn't think you were actually going to get it like at the start of summer. I thought you were going to get it towards the end of summer because that's when like they like to put all the summer stuff, barbecues and all that on sale. Yeah, but then
summer's over.
But you can always barbecue in winter.
Yeah, but it's not the same. It doesn't have the same vibe. It's like you just want to rush outside, cook something, and then come in. In the summertime, you sit out there, you enjoy it, then you sit out and eat while, like, you know, it's a totally different vibe.
Well, right now we actually have a heat warning, a heat wave going on, and it's like 30-something degrees outside. And it's sweating. I have no AC still.
Yeah, well, actually, we're about to go back to Canadian Tire today and see if we can buy the the refrigerant for the AC unit.
Do you know how to fix that? The guy told me to watch a YouTube video.
Yeah, YouTube. You can learn anything on YouTube, and I'm sure it's not that difficult. I'm sure they have a video specifically for your model as well to show you exactly where it is, where to fill it up, how to do it. I'm sure it's not that hard. I've never done it before, but I'm sure it's not that hard. Yeah,
but driving during this heat wave, you guys, it's funny because it's been broken for about 2 summers now, 3 summers. I'm pretty sure this is a 3rd summer. And every summer I say, I got to get this AC fixed. I have to get this AC fixed. And then I last the entire summer. I'm like, all right, don't need it. Now it's winter time. As long as my heat works, I'm fine.
I think it only started not working last year.
Okay, so this is the 2nd summer then we're going into it. And honestly, like I said before, I need to look into a new car. My car is about 8 years old now, and I have put in some money, a good chunk of change into this car.
Yeah.
But mentally, I'm still not ready to give her up.
Yeah, I mean, it's your first car that you've personally owned, and there's some connection there that's hard to break, right? And I get that.
I was looking at the kicks. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this, the Nissan kicks, the other day on this, a couple podcasts ago, I mentioned this on the podcast that I was looking at the Nissan kicks. And we went to go see one yesterday, but then he showed me what was the other one called? Qashqai? What was it called?
The Qashqai.
Yeah, the Qashqai.
Which, if you live in the States, it's the Rogue Sport.
Oh, it's not the same?
No, they call it something different. They call it the Rogue Sport. Don't know why. It's on the Rogue chassis, so the same like frame as the Rogue. But it is slightly different. It's different, like actual body. Yeah. And different features, I'd imagine.
I really like it. Yeah. Maybe it was that specific like trim that he showed me. That's the new word I learned while talking to him the other day. The word trim for whatever that means for the car.
Yeah, you have your make, which is the brand. Then you have your model, which is the kicks, the Qashqai, Rogue, But then you have your trim levels. and you get different features on each trim level.
Yeah, so I'm going to do my reviews. If you own a Qashqai or a Rogue Sport, let me know how you like the car. It looks very compact, and I really like that.
Yeah.
About the Qashqai. It reminds me of my Micra, but a little bit bigger.
Yeah. No, I worked with a guy.
Well, a lot bigger.
He just moved out to BC, British Columbia. Maybe a month or maybe 2 months ago. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, just before moving, his vehicle broke down and he needed to get a new one. So he bought the Qashqai.
Oh, yeah.
He bought a used one, mind you, but yeah, he likes it.
Yeah, I really like it. Like I got the same like feeling when I sat in my Micra for the first time. I was like, this is the car I want. So who knows? Maybe that's the. I don't want to go with the first car that I'm looking at. I want to look at different models, and
I need to know though. And that's what I wanted to know. Are you guys biased to certain brands because you've had one or your family members have had one? Because I know she is.
What do you mean?
You said your dad had a Nissan, so now you want a Nissan.
Yeah.
Your first car was a Nissan, so that's just your go-to, right?
Yeah. Well, they are good cars. I think they are.
Yeah, but you gotta at least consider other ones.
I am. And I'm going to test drive other cars. I'm going to take you guys along with us when we do this. But I'm going to test drive it. I didn't test drive the Qashqai. I wanted to.
We showed up at like almost 4:30. They closed at 5. So we just went to kind of just go see it.
And that wasn't even on my list. So I feel like it was almost meant to be that I was supposed to see the Qashqai. I really like it. Yeah.
But yeah, anyway. I know interest rates aren't great right now. They're pretty high. So I personally have made us a spreadsheet.
Oh gosh,
or made Amelia a spreadsheet. I'm basically comparing all the different models around her price range, comparing interest rates, comparing features, warranties, all those different things. I don't know if that's something you guys look into or you just see a car and you're like, this is what I want. And you just go ahead and get it. But yeah.
See, I wouldn't have done all that.
I know.
I know. I'm like, I just need a car with a backup camera.
Yeah, that's what you said yesterday.
AC
Does it have a backup camera? Okay, I like it.
And even I don't know what type of questions to ask. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait till my dad comes and then we're gonna go look at this car too. Because I wouldn't know. I'm just there standing. He's like, what do you want in a car? I'm like, a backup camera because that parallel parking life isn't meant for me.
No, you're not bad at driving and you can park. You can parallel park. I've seen you.
Yeah, because I have a backup camera to show how close I'm actually getting to the other car behind me.
Oh, yeah. See that?
That's what I use it for.
I feel like people use it fully to back up, which I personally don't. I still use my mirrors, but once I start getting close to something, that's when I use it because it is very helpful to see like how much room you have. That is what it's very helpful for. So
I don't know. I really like the Nissan Micra, and they don't make it anymore. But I obviously would get a bigger car. And the Qashqai is a 4-wheel drive, so that's another reason that I want to go with the Qashqai. Yeah,
all-wheel drive. It's very beneficial here in wintertime. You'll notice a huge difference.
Is it all-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive?
All-wheel drive.
Oh, what did I say? 4-wheel drive?
Yeah, 4-wheel drive is like what? It's basically the same type of system, but they call it all-wheel drive. But yeah, anyway, it's very beneficial in the wintertime. You'll notice it around corners. You won't slide out as much. Taking off from like stop signs, traffic lights, you'll notice you won't spin as easily. Yeah, it helps a lot in wintertime.
Yeah. But on another note, though, you were saying to me how a lot of cars are going to go electric.
Yep. I was reading that about a week or two ago that literally by 2030, it had a list of like 10 or 15 different countries around the world. And I would say about 75% of them have a goal of 2030 to literally cut off every dealership from being able to sell new combustion engines, so basically gasoline or diesel engines, right? They have to be strictly electric by 2030. Canada said 2035, and there was a few others that said like 2025 actually, which is very close.
But they must have already been like driving electric cars then for a while.
Yeah, I don't know, but anyway,
that's really fast though to want every dealership to stop making gasoline cars and turn into electric. I did look at the Nissan Leaf and I did kind of like it, but they start really high in price though.
Yeah, it's an extra like 10,000 on top of basically the same model that's not electric, so they are higher, but you will save on fuel. You'll save on maintenance.
Okay, but can I drive from point A to point let's say Z without having to...
This is Amazon now? A to Z?
Anyways, can I drive from point A to point D then without my car stalling because I forgot to charge it?
Well, I don't know. And that's the thing. That's what I'm a little bit hesitant on jumping on board with it. We're not prepared yet. I don't know how it is in US. Maybe you have charging stations all over the place, or other countries around the world. Maybe there's charging stations everywhere. I just know here they're not.
There are some at some malls and some gas stations.
But along your trip. Let's say you're going for a road trip. You have to get to like the next city.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you mean.
There's gas stations in between, right? When you're just going through straight bush, there's just some random gas station. There's no random charging station.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So we're not at that level yet.
See what's going to happen. Because it takes less than 10 minutes to fill up your car, to go in, pay. And if there's a lineup and everybody's waiting to fill up the car with electricity, what's going to happen?
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like even using like the fast chargers, it takes like, I know Mercedes, I was reading up on the electric vehicles, and you can charge up to 170 watts or kilowatts per hour. And those are like the fast stations. But even still, to get from 10 to 80, it takes 32 minutes, right? So you have to literally sit there if you want a full charge again for half an hour instead of just pulling over for 5 minutes, pumping gas, and you're back on the road, right? You have to literally pull over and let your car charge. So it's a little bit different. And I don't know if we're at that level yet, at least here in Canada. Don't know about other places.
Yeah. If you guys own an electric car, how do you guys like it? I am a little nervous, definitely that self-drive option that the Qashqai did have. He said all you have to do is touch the steering wheel or hold on to the steering wheel.
Yeah, you have to hold on.
So it knows that you're awake.
But it'll still... I feel like that would be weird though, because like it's like forcing your arms. You have to like let your arms loose, but you still hold on. I feel like that would be very weird, because I know my car has the lane assist, and sometimes I don't actually use my signal.
So you're one of those people.
Sometimes, if there's no one behind me. If there's someone behind me, I always use it. But yeah, I don't always use my signal, and the lane assist, it kind of like tries to like force me back into the lane. The worst part though is in wintertime, right? When there's snow on the road and it thinks I'm not in the lane, but I'm actually driving perfectly straight, like in the lane, but then it tries to like jerk me out of the lane. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why are you trying to cause an accident right now? So I don't know. Some of these features I'm not 100% sold on yet. I don't think the technology is as advanced as it will be. So maybe by 2030, everything will be good, right? We still have quite a few years, and technology does grow and evolve very quickly, right?
Yeah.
So maybe by 2030, we'll be good. But by then, you'll still be able to buy used combustion engines. but no new ones from a dealership.
I thought we would be living like the Jetsons by now. Like, I thought the whole world would be, on flying cars or air driving cars and whatnot. Like the Jetsons. I thought this is where our world would be.
Mm-hmm. So you didn't see the article I sent you?
No. Where'd you send it to me?
I sent it through... did I send it to you in Messenger or did I tag you in it on Facebook?
I'll check Messenger.
I think I tagged you in it.
Well, you definitely didn't send it to me on Messenger.
Well, there's a company in California. Look on your Facebook. I'm pretty sure I tagged you in it.
Enter Aleph Aeronautics. The California startup believes people will be looking up at their Model A by the year 2025. The FAA issued the company a special airworthiness certificate, allowing for testing on the road and in the sky. It still needs to meet safety standards. At a price of $300,000 for a vehicle that has a flying range of about 175 kilometers, it could be a while before our skies are dotted with hybrid helicopter cars. Though advancements in technology have been making personal travel more convenient, self-driving cars were touted as a way of the future, but issues like accident liability and radar interference have prevented them from taking over our roads.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So yes, they are creating flying cars now, and they've actually gotten permission to start testing them in live traffic. So it still drives on the road, but it also can raise up just like a helicopter from a standstill and go up and fly.
That's scary.
Yeah, for 175 kilometers. So I'd imagine you can drive farther, or like you can get more battery life if you're just basically driving on the road, I'd imagine.
Mm-hmm.
But it uses more energy to be able to fly, so your kilometers now decreases. But even still,
the birds are not going to be happy about this one.
No, not at all. But yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy where we're going.
Does technology ever scare you guys? I know it scares me.
It's some of it. I think
when I see the robots, those robots scare me.
Yeah, I know. I think maybe some movies have put some fear in us, like iRobot.
Yeah, like definitely what we were talking about earlier.
Terminator, and yeah, those movies kind of scare me. Or have put fear in us, I think, about
technology.
About what robots can potentially do to us in the future. All right, so that's it for this podcast. But before we do end it, I just want to ask you guys, as we did mention earlier, that we are in the third quarter of the year and now the second half. So 2023, we are already halfway through it. Do you guys know of, or can you think of any goals you want to achieve before the end of the year? Me personally, I'm not really sure off the top of my head, but I think I'll think about it over the course of the next week now that it's relevant and I've had that realization.
Midlife realization.
Mid-year realization.
Yeah.
That, shoot, yes, I do probably want to achieve something before the end of the year, but what is it? So next week, this week we'll think about what each one of us wants to do. You guys think of what you want to do, and we'll all meet back next week on next Sunday, and we'll have a little discussion about those.
All right, so that's it for this podcast. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up. If you enjoy our random conversations, come over to This Thing of Ours podcast channel on Spotify and also Apple Podcasts. Hit your subscribe button there as well. Rate us because that helps us with our podcast. And also come over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button because we are usually here on Sundays. Sometimes Wednesdays, but we're working on that.
Yeah.
But
we will still keep putting out content. So subscribe and we'll see you guys in future episodes.
Yeah, and have a good week, guys. Peace.